What's up, everybody? We're coming back here for round 4 of the Costa Mesa SoCal Regional Championships. I'm Kimo Nishimura, here with my co-commentator, Len Duel.
What's up, guys?
We got a pretty exciting matchup for you. I mean, the last one was great, but we're just keeping the ball rolling. We have Chase Lybbert, former national champion, the last one actually, 2016, versus multi-regional winner, maybe, I think 3 times, Riley Factura.
Yeah. Two really strong players, 2 really interesting teams. So.
Very interesting teams. I can't wait for you guys to see them. Chase is an interesting person, not just because he is intelligent enough and good enough and skilled enough to win nationals, but he's also pretty lax, I would say. He doesn't put a lot of emphasis on training. He feels in the moment. He's very strong there, and he doesn't have too much problem using things that he finds fun.
It's always fun to use things you like. To pick a Pokemon that is your favorite and make it work.
Oh, man, I'm excited. They are both 3-0 out of 8 rounds, I believe. Pretty solid.
Yeah, looking to get to 4-0. Slowly move towards that top cut. 5 more rounds to play.
Yeah. I mean, it's been sort of a long day. I guess the lunch break made that feel a little longer than it
You think that ever
actually was.
Throws players off their game? You get that break?
Oh, absolutely. I think, from myself personally, my record post-lunch is probably below 0.5.
So you're a relatively strong player before lunch. I mean, you've had
it's this relativity
mixed
business.
Strong results over the years, but apparently only before lunch.
Well, no, it's just like that one round after lunch. And
just specifically
the post-lunch round.
I thought you meant all the rounds after lunch.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, wait, me? A beast. For a little bit of extra history, this is very much a callback to an old Chase team. He loved to bring similar teams to mid-seasons, PCs, and whatnot. I actually played him on stream in a...
Other teams you built around Lynoon like this one, you mean?
Yes. Oh, yeah. He brought this to like a mid-season in Salt Lake City, I believe, 20.
Yeah, commentated that tournament. Saw that Lynoon on stream.
Yeah. It didn't. Good old callback, just multiple.
Yeah, Lynoon, another gluttony, belly drum, berry Pokemon. It's like Snorlax, except you drop all that bulk.
Yeah.
And instead just go very, very quick, and also faint very, very quick. So instead you've got to, control the game, not ever let Lynoon get attacked.
Never.
But you can deny those attacks using those fast extreme speeds to do massive damage before anything can move, even outspeeding other priority moves.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter really how fast something is. It could be Deoxys speed even. Like, extreme speed is going to go first and just KO things. You have to, create a situation in which you really don't care that happened too much and just try and cut it before it becomes too problematic. Riley, definitely a player who can do that. Again, he's won multiple regionals. He's had very solid finishes in past national and world tournaments. Definitely one of the stronger players in California as a whole. Super consistent. I expect the match to be pretty good. Of course, I want Lynoon to be a presence.
And maybe a player who's played long enough to have encountered that previous Lynoon team and kind of know what's up. He's not going to be blindsided by Lynoon like maybe some opponents Chase might run into.
I think Lynoon is notorious enough that a seasoned player would see it and go, oh, I know exactly what that's going to do.
Absolutely. All right, we'll know exactly what it does, and we'll be on the defensive against it from the get-go. So it means Chase is going to have to try that much harder to find the right moment to fit in that offense.
I'm really loving looking at this team preview. On Chase's side, we have Lynoon, Volcarona, Salamence, Clefairy, Greninja, and Tapu Fini versus Metagross, Landorus Therian, Tapu Lele, Zapdos, Gyarados, Amoonguss. Interesting little note that Clefairy is the easy redirection. Like, Friend Guard is Follow Me. Volcarona has Rage Powder. It's not seen as common. I don't think it will throw Riley off guard too much, but it's possible because when you have an offensive team that's like the Lynoon Clefairy, it could be Quiver Dance too.
Right, that's what I was going to say. You could look at this team preview and say maybe it's 2 alternate forms of setup.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be Clefairy supports either the Lynoon setup or the Volcarona setup. Instead, it's both Clefairy and Volcarona supporting that Lynoon.
Also very possible that's a Dragon Dance Salamence.
You would expect with all of this support, you would do that. So Chase will have a couple options of both what to set up with and what to support with, which maybe gives him some more flexibility to handle what Riley's going to be trying to do with that Metagross Amoonguss core.
It's going to be interesting to see what he leads. I think Metagross is pretty logical. It resists extreme speed. It has the ability to sort of tank Salamence. It could take the attacks, do a lot of damage back, if not one-hit KOing. Volcarona, I think, is a huge factor here. Zapdos and Metagross sent out by Riley, while we see Volcarona and Linoon coming out from Chase.
Yeah, Volcarona, a good support here for Linoon. Can Rage Powder away most of what that Metagross will be trying to do and keep Linoon relatively safe, and can also just show that overheat at any point and one-hit KO the Metagross. So a dangerous position here. Zapdos may be looking for Tailwind support, but we've talked about extreme speed and why that Tailwind support won't be as useful. So Zapdos, maybe not the most useful thing here, may at least force the Rage Powder because you can't allow a Thunderbolt on the Linoon.
Mega Ghost going Mega, powering up. Gonna see who exactly is going to be hitting. It's dangerous to be hitting Volcarona because it has Flame Body. The potential for burn is very much there. We do see Rage Powder. Whichever Metagross decision was made, it's going to hit Volcarona. It dodges the Zen Headbutt while Volcarona just eats up the Thunderbolt. Guaranteed Belly Drum on that Linoon. Took no damage. It's going back to full health thanks to its Gluttony Berry combination.
Yeah, that Zen Headbutt miss, saving a lot of health in that Volcarona. It does show that it has the Zen Headbutt, so not restricted to something like Iron Head to try to hit Linoon, and so it would have been a great hit on Volcarona. Instead, it misses. Especially
because Thunderbolt did pretty decent amount of damage.
Yeah, that might have been the KO onto Volcarona, the two together. Instead, this will be more Rage Powder next turn, and either a big extreme speed come out, or maybe some coverage move to hit that Metagross.
Metagross definitely showing why it's a good choice in this matchup. The Steel typing resisting extreme speed allows for a bit of positioning for Riley to make, even under the case that Belly Drum is activated.
Yeah, if you have two Pokemon that are both immediately threatened by a one-hit KO from extreme speed, you're very vulnerable. If you try to protect one and the attack goes into the other slot, you're still in the same position the next turn, and you've lost a Pokemon.
Zapdos switching out, not going to take that extreme speed, as we do see Tapu Lele just neutering that extreme speed thanks to its Psychic Terrain, preventing all priority moves from coming out. Pretty annoying for that Linoon. Rage Powder returning, redirecting Metagross's hit. We might not, no, we definitely won't see extreme speed because it would have went before Rage Powder. Zen Headbutt picking up the KO on Volcarona. Not sure if the Psychic Terrain mattered, but sort of. Ooh, Stomping Tantrum. I didn't even know that it got that, but so many things got that in the Ultra Sun and Moon update that it's really not too surprising. Metagross not going to be able to take that +6 Stomping Tantrum.
Yeah, of course not. And so Metagross goes down. Not so worried about Psychic Terrain when you're just trying to use that ground coverage move to KO Metagross, and has the opportunity to maybe bring in Tapu Fini and just undo that terrain and have access to that extreme speed again. Also, Landorus coming in with its flying typing won't be affected by the terrain. Can extreme speed that no matter what.
But that doesn't matter as we turn into the Misty terrain. The field's not so weird anymore. But 2 flying types on Riley's team out of 3. Extreme speed was looking pretty strong either way. It's just nice to have that Lele feel like it either has to take the hit or switch out. But it should be the case that either one can KO Linoon, I would think.
Yeah, probably either one can KO Linoon, depending on both of them, how they're trained. Maybe in Misty Terrain, Linoon is bulky enough to take a Psychic if there's no Shattered Psyche.
No switches. The Extreme Speed just going right into that Lander is picking up the KO, even at +5 instead of +6. The Z move coming out from Riley, the Shattered Psyche, definitely enough to KO the Linoon if that's what was targeted, and I imagine that to be the case.
Yeah, so 2 KOs on each side probably once this Shattered Psyche lands onto Linoon, and both the support and the Pokemon it was supporting are gone down, but 2 KOs claimed in the process. It's going to be just that Zapdos and Lele up against the Tapu Fini and whatever's still in the back for Chase here.
No, hopefully for Chase, it's not the Salamence. It's something that can really pressure that Zapdos in the back.
Yeah, it's going to have more damage for that Zapdos, but Calm Mind helps.
Calm Mind definitely helps.
Going to be helping to take less from those Thunderbolts once Zapdos does come back in, and of course, getting out much more damage against Zapdos. If you get a couple Calm Minds and you do have that berry to heal, Zapdos is definitely a Pokemon Tapu Fini can handle.
Zapdos returning to the field before Chase, just a little bit of anticipation. We do see Salamence. Salamance's not really a Pokemon that helps against Zapdos too much. Probably going to be targeting that Tapu Lele.
Yeah, and a Pokemon that's vulnerable to Tapu Lele. If it doesn't get the KO, Tapu Lele can just Moonblast and KO right back.
Makes a lot of sense to bring your Mega, though. Like, it's not surprising.
Yeah, most players will choose that Mega if they're not quite sure what to do with the fourth slot. We saw the two most important Pokemon in the train that was necessary to keep that Psychic Terrain from being too much of a bother for the Linoon, and it's just filled out with that fourth Mega Pokemon.
Salaman's going Mega on its own. Going to try pressuring that Tapu Lele with some flying attacks. Still, a prediction could see it try to target down the Zapdos to aid that Tapu Fini a little more. We do see the Protect from Tapu Lele. Perfect time for that Salamence to hit. As the Double Edge goes into the Zapdos. Good read by Chase. Solid damage, too. It's a rough 45%. Hidden Power Ice coming out. Move that depends on the sort of stats innate to a Pokemon. Not enough to KO the Salamence, though, as we get another Calm Mind up.
Yeah, I think that ends up being a strong turn for Chase. Getting that other Calm Mind is really important. Both these Pokemon on the other side are special attackers, going to be having to break through those Calm Mind boosts to attack Tapu Fini. Now it's sitting at full health, items still intact, and the two Calm Minds now. Even with Zapdos threatening Thunderbolts, this is definitely a situation Tapu Fini can handle, and the first Pokemon to attack next turn is going to be that Salamence. There's still going to be another big chunk of damage coming out from Salamence before you even start looking at what Tapu Fini has to do by itself.
Chase also doesn't have to worry about Muddy Water. At this point, he's probably safe enough to press Moonblast. Double Edge coming out, going onto the Tapu Lele. Enough to pick up. Critical hit. Making it a mystery just how that Tapu Lele was trained, though most Z-move Lele tend to be more on the offensive side. Salamence KOing itself in recoil. Thunderbolt going onto the Tapu Fini. Not enough to KO thanks to those Calm Minds. Not even enough to do 45%, as he did go for the Muddy Water, missing that Zapdos, creating the chance for Zapdos to get a critical hit on the next turn.
Yeah, maybe not confident that Double Edge would KO Lele and wanted to both KO Lele and pick up a chunk of damage on Zapdos. And Sid misses, but should be able to take this Thunderbolt and then Moonblast back.
Not a critical hit. No reason not to Moonblast here. There's only one target. Moonblast at +2 at a 45 or 55% Salamence. Easy KO.
Yeah, that was a really fast-paced game. You know, we only saw a handful of turns and just big blows coming out from both sides. We saw lots of setup from Chase's side, Calm Minds coming out, that Belly Drum coming out. We're going to have to see if Riley's team can play at that sort of pace and keep up with what Chase is doing.
I mean, the speed of that game was extreme.
It
undoubtedly.
It was not a calm game.
No
one was keeping calm there.
Well, I'm glad it was on your mind.
So, yeah, looking at adjustments, maybe Riley will have to find something to not allow so many KOs from the – or well, there's only two, but 2 KOs from that Linoon before getting it down. Maybe now that he knows about the high horsepower, plays differently. It's not clear if he knew that was an option before Metagross ended up getting one-hit KO'd. Amoonguss is something that could maybe keep Metagross a little bit safer, but can't really take the extreme speed itself, so that's a dangerous game to play.
Chase already locking in. Going to be pretty interesting to see how Riley adjusts. Worth noting that because the Zapdos took around 45% from a Salamence Double Edge, a resisted move because of Aerialate, which changes normal moves into flying, might not be the bulkiest Zapdos ever. And because Lele used a Z-move, Zapdos might not make a reappearance here. But it does help with the Salamence. It's hard to say. It's just hard to put up with such an offense like that.
It helps with the Salamence, and it would help with that Salamence, especially if it tried to start getting Dragon Dances. You'll need that tailwind support, and then you'll need that damage.
Riley leading Tapu Lele and Amoonguss, while Chase going with Greninja and Clefairy, changing it up completely from the last game.
Yeah, Greninja going to have the support from Clefairy here. Not a Pokemon likely to set up. Instead, likely to just have 3 coverage moves, and we'll use that Protean ability to turn into the type of whatever coverage move it uses so that they'll all have that same type attack boost. Going to be putting out big damage immediately. No need to set up first. Then Amoonguss and Tapu Lele do come out. Maybe Amoonguss hoping to be able to Spore that Linoon past the Rage Powder if it came to that. Doesn't see that matchup, and instead is going to be looking to Spore either of these Pokemon. Not probably able to be one-hit KO'd this turn.
Clefairy switches out, doesn't want to lose the Friend Guard ability too early as Tapu Fini makes its appearance for the first time in the second game. Misty Terrain preventing that Spore from doing too much. But we see the Rage Powder instead of the Spore. Doesn't feel the need to go for that sleep. Ice Beam coming out, hitting that Amoonguss for what I imagine to be solid damage thanks to Protein. You know, I really did not imagine to see 2 Greninja on stream today, let alone in the tournament at all. The berry activating on Amoonguss. That's actually the citrus berry, not those new fangled Wiki and Ayapapa berries. Moonblast coming on the Greninja. Solid damage, not the KO, thanks to switching to an Ice type from Dark.
Yeah, so instead it's not super effective. Could have gone for the Shattered Psyche to get that KO, but maybe was worried about Greninja either staying the type it was or using something like Dark Pulse to continue to be immune. It's kind of hard to predict what you should go after Greninja with when you don't know what attack it's going to use, you don't know what type it's going to be by the time you attack it. Tapu Fini comes in to deny those spores, but Amoonguss doesn't try to spore anyway. Rage Powders, but it was going to be taking the only attack that came out that turn anyway, so kind of a moot turn for Amoonguss no matter what it did.
Yeah.
Tapu Fini's in now, not in a great spot. It managed to get rid of the Psychic Terrain, weakening Tapu Lele, but doesn't like being in against Amoonguss necessarily, not threatening big damage. Could start Calm Minding straight away, though.
Though it is possible he has Clear Smog to just deny those boosts. Metagross coming in over the Amoonguss, not even going to allow Chase the chance to even set up that offense through switching or Calm Minds. Protect from Greninja, doesn't want to lose that just yet. As the Moonblast goes into the Protect, not doing too much. Pretty null turn as we see the Calm Mind, just boosting Chase's position a little further.
Yeah, and we saw Tapu Fini get a Calm Mind like this in the first game, too, where some other Pokemon is enough of a threat that it requires Riley's attention. And meanwhile, Tapu Fini's sitting in the other spot, just Calm Minding, getting ready for the end game. The more Calm Minds Riley allows like that, can get out of control where he won't be able to deal with it. He's going to need now Metagross to be threatening big damage against Tapu Fini, but it has to be worrying about that Greninja at the same time. If it does have something like Dark Pulse, it can really go after Metagross.
No, Greninja's super threatening here. It has the ability to KO either one of Riley's Pokemon, which... Yeah, a Protector switch, not out of the question at all, as we see Metagross do just that. Lele staying in, feeling safe. As we, the Z move, the Dark? That is Dark, yes. Dark move, Dark's Inium Z, Greninja making its appearance, but who is he targeting? It's not hard to imagine that's the Metagross.
Yeah, you'd expect it would be, and instead that Protect comes out. Still will do a decent chunk of damage, though, through that Protect.
Metagross is like sort of a spider, and Greninja's water, so it's like the itsy bitsy spotter came out the water spout
and went down the drain of the black hole.
And but not
still
almost
damage.
Yeah,
like 40% is good damage to get for your protected Z move, and Moonblast comes out and KOs that Greninja.
You know, Riley preserving Metagross there, but what you did see was that, I mean, Chase is probably happy with the way that turn out played out because he was able to chip down both Metagross and Lele.
I think it's important Chase there deciding not to take a second Calm Mind. Instead, Moonblast does a little bit more than 50% of that Tapu Lele will be able to KO on the next turn. Clefairy comes out here, going to be offering Friend Guard, making that Tapu Fini so bulky, and probably allowing more Calm Minds if that's what Chase wants to do. But on the last turn, he decided to just go offensive. We'll see if he changes his mind again, goes back to setting up, or continues to go on the offensive.
So many options for Chase. He could just protect and attack. He can Calm Mind, follow me. There's so much.
Yeah, we assume that Metagross probably has a Steel move. We've only seen Zen Headbutt so far. So Clefairy is going to have to watch out. Doesn't want to take a big Iron Head and get KO'd and lose that support for Tapu Fini.
Though, switching it in like that, he's very much prepared, I think, for that to happen. He believes that Tapu Fini's positioning here is enough to take the game. Lele switching out, coming in for Amoonguss, something that really doesn't care about Fini's, either one of its main primary attacks. Mega coming out, probably Zen Headbutt, Iron Head potentially. Want to get either injure that Fini or, Helping Hand. Just going right for the offense. I imagine a Muddy Water. Oh, but Metagross going first, the Iron Head. Going on to the Fini, didn't believe that Chase would just risk his Clefairy like that as Muddy Water dodges, or Amoonguss dodges the Muddy Water. Not too important thanks to its grass typing.
But it hits the important target here.
Yes, hits the important one.
Oh. Metagross manages to hang on,
but he
takes that Muddy Water and survives. Drop. Yeah, I think there Chase was expecting that Helping Hand Muddy Water would be able to pick up the KO on both Lele if it had stayed in, and that Metagross misses the KO onto Metagross, and so it's going to stay on the field for another turn. It had decided to Iron Head, though, not the Clefairy in the previous turn, maybe worried about a Protect on that Clefairy. Instead, picks up a solid chunk of damage on Tapu Fini, a big chunk of damage he's going to need to eventually KO that Tapu Fini with its support, but that means that Clefairy is still out there, still providing that Friend Guard.
Not willing to lose Metagross just yet. Tapu Lele returning to the field, setting the Psychic Terrain, and enabling the spores that were impossible earlier. Wouldn't be surprising to see Spore on either target, maybe a Clear Smog or a Sludge Bomb onto the Feeny. Salamet's coming out, knowing that Amoonguss is just that annoying threat that he needs to deal with immediately. Intimidate not mattering too much on these special attacking or supportive Pokemon. Feeny protecting, not willing to either lose its boost, go to sleep, take damage, just being absolutely safe. But Riley not having any of that as he sends that Salamence to sleep. Night-night.
Yeah, that was a great turn for Riley. Gets the Salamence to sleep on the switch in. Otherwise, it would have been threatening KOs on either of these Pokemon, moving before both of them. I think he expected maybe an Iron Head in that Clefairy slot and hoped to just intimidate the Metagross before it attacked and then only take but maybe less than 50% with that Salamence from Iron Head. Instead, takes a Spore, which is much worse for him.
Clefairy helping its friend out by returning to the field as the Z move once again aiming at probably Tapu Fini. It's going to be interesting to see whether he can take that with the Calm Mind boost or not, but the Psychic Terrain makes that questionable.
Yeah, Psychic Terrain is going to make the Shattered Psyche so powerful. You always want to be restricting the damage of that Shattered Psyche with your Misty Terrain, but it hits Clefairy.
Interesting, probably prioritizing removing the Clefairy switch in as Salamet's not too big an issue due to the sleep. Muddy Water dodged by Amoonguss once again. Hitting the Lele at +1, that might be enough to pick up the KO. It just hangs on. Muddy Water not been so helpful here. Tapu Fini finally taking that nap.
Yeah, that Shattered Psyche trying to get the KO on Salamence, maybe predicting the Clefairy switch in, like you said, and hoping to get the KO there. But that KO is missed. Clefairy's still out there, still providing Friend Guard, still offers the Follow Me on the next turn, but that Follow Me would just be supporting a sleeping Tapu Fini. Hasn't even slept for a turn yet, so there's no way it attacks next turn. You're looking at multiple turns before it's able to attack.
And not even just Tapu Fini, but Salamence as well, sleeping in the back. The protect from Clefairy, just trying to have one of his Pokemon hopefully wake up. Psychic goes into the Fini. Not too much damage thanks to that Calm Mind. No wake up from Tapu Fini. Like, really earned that rest as the Clear Smog hits it, removing that special defense boost, which is potentially vital here, enabling Lele to probably KO on the next turn.
Yeah, removing that Calm Mind, it's just such a tough spot for Chase now. I don't know how he could play out of it. Salamence would come back in and be forced to sleep for another turn, be taking more damage. Tapu Fini, while it could wake up the next turn, probably just gets KO'd before it moves, unless that Clefairy Follow Me's it away, but then you're losing Clefairy. Just too much up against it, and so Chase does concede here. We're going to move on to Game 3.
Adjustments.
I thought it was a really interesting element that because Tapu Fini hit the field sooner and tried to Calm Mind sooner, it was stuck on the field. You weren't going to switch and lose that Calm Mind. So when that Lele went out from the back and came back in, that Psychic Terrain was locked in. You weren't going to be switching that Tapu Fini that was now your focus point of the team just to get the terrain advantage. And so what that did was it meant Tapu Lele's Psychics were boosted, that Shattered Psyche was boosted, and all those Spores were allowed. You know, Salamence could have been spored either way, but Tapu Fini wouldn't have been able to. And I don't know that Chase can really afford to do that and allow that Amoonguss to keep sporing and allow that Tapu Lele to have such strong attacks by keeping Tapu Fini on the field before Tapu Lele is dealt with.
I absolutely agree. He almost overcommitted to Tapu Fini's offense. The Clear Smog knowledge is very helpful because that's potentially vital in a team full of setup sweepers. But in trying to keep Tapu Fini out there for so long, it ended up hurting him more in the long run because his positioning was just made that much worse. Yeah,
and he did miss a chance to maybe make that Tapu Fini more able to actually be that pivot point with that Calm Mind that instead was a Moonblast against Tapu Lele. Maybe you look at that Metagross and it's KO'd by the Muddy Water. Tapu Lele maybe gets to it KO'd by the Muddy Water later in the game if you haven't already Moonblasted it once. But the other thing we saw revealed right at the end of the game that I think will be really important in Game 3 and the way Chase is thinking is that Clear Smog.
Absolutely.
It didn't come out till the end of the game and eventually removed that Calm Mind, but you especially can't be trying to make Tapu Fini's Calm Mind offense the focus point of your team if you know it can all just get removed with a super effective Clear Smog at any point.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if he immediately shifted back to Volcarona mentally after seeing that. He needs extra pressure against not only Amoonguss but Metagross as well.
And I think he needs Linoon. I don't know why go away from it. It was so important in that first game, and instead we saw Greninja, Tapu Fini, Clefairy, and Salamence in Game 2. Neither the Volcarona or the Linoon that gave him that early lead in Game 1.
I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Chase shift back, maybe not to the exact 4 Pokemon in Game 1, but something very similar.
Yeah, and I think Greninja could be useful being there and able to KO that Metagross with the now revealed Darkinium's Z move, but I think you can still need the offensive Linoon also.
I agree. Both, they work together perfectly well, especially since Greninja, you never know, could have that mat block.
Yeah, it's at least something Riley has to be considering, even if you don't have it.
Ooh, a difficult lead situation here is we see Zapdos, Metagross from Riley, and Volcarona, Salamence from Chase. Well, Volcarona not having the worst time ever, Salamence does not like this position, as both Pokemon are considered good answers to it.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar position to the first game where Metagross has to be worried about an overheat, but also could be that Rage Powder support for Salamence, but maybe a little less likely because, like you said, Salamence doesn't love being against either of these Pokemon. If it does have some sort of coverage move that allows it to KO Metagross, though, maybe you can use that Rage Powder support, move away what Zapdos is doing, and get set up with Salamence. And then once Metagross is gone, you can go hard on the other slot, keep double-edging things. So if you can just break through one of these Pokemon, then you have a vulnerable space.
Powering up right out of the gate, no reason not to because the Intimidate couldn't be cycled. As Metagross goes into its Mega Form, powering up thanks to that Tough Claws ability, and in addition to it just generally increased stats. Salamence going for the Protect, not going to risk that Ice Punch from Metagross or that Hidden Power Ice from Zapdos as the Zen Headbutt goes into Volcarona, not missing like Game 1, doing over 50% as you see the Thunderbolt double tap onto the slot. Barely
hangs
hanging on.
Eats the berry, gets all the way back above 50% health. And I think that means the overheat's coming out.
Tailwind. Okay, just as good because it allows you to overheat the next turn, essentially. Though
it does, but it also allows Riley the option to just protect that Metagross and counter with his own Tailwind, and then what you gain in that first turn is just undone. So maybe worried about Metagross Protect, thought you could gain more out of the Tailwind, but doesn't immediately gain the KO, instead having to look towards a field position advantage that maybe lets him get the KO next turn or in the future.
Bit of a rough spot for Chase. Is, to me, the Tailwind signifies that he didn't bring Linoon.
Yeah, maybe not. You don't necessarily need Tailwind with Linoon. We also did see Riley read that Protect last turn and double target the other slot.
Salamence going into its Mega Form. Chase not willing to switch something out in the back and just injure his whole party. Salamence fighting back, going for that Dragon Dance, boosting its attack and speed by one stage, hoping that he's able to take these attacks from the Zapdos, Metagross onslaught. But not going to be a problem thanks to this overheat coming out. Don't be afraid, Len, as Metagross goes down.
Yeah, Metagross not protecting itself, and so that Tailwind gives Volcarona the speed advantage it needs to just overheat and KO.
Oh, the opposing Tailwind, the speeds are now matched, but in doing so, Riley loses his Metagross for essentially free.
Yeah, the speeds are now matched, but then stacked upon that Tailwind that Volcarona gave is now that Dragon Dance speed boost for Salamence. So Salamence is going to be very quick out here.
And we saw earlier that even an unboosted Salamence Double Edge was enough to do around 45% to a Zapdos.
Yeah, and we saw the critical hit, Double Edge KO that Tapu Lele. Dragon Dance boost is just as good of a critical hit. Should be a KO on Lele if he wants it. And you can continue to Rage Powder. Nothing has stopped that. We've seen what the damage that Zapdos does with Thunderbolt. Definitely not going to be a KO on Volcarona from this range.
Lele going for the Protect, not ready to. He feels necessary to take this game. Rage Powder revealing itself once again, not willing to have Salamence take hits either, as the Double Edge goes out into the Lele slot, allowing Zapdos what is a free move, but the Hidden Power Ice going into that Fire type, not doing too much damage at all.
Yeah, big risk there by Riley. By Hidden Power Ice coming out into Volcarona, you still may not be able to KO Volcarona on the next turn. You may be able to just Rage Powder, Double Edge KO that Lele, and even if you now go for Thunderbolt, Volcarona may just stay on the field and be there to Rage Powder another turn. The Salamence offense is almost out of control.
It was really just vital for Chase that Metagross went down so easily early.
Yeah, like I said, it opened up the spot that's now so vulnerable. Tapu Lele having to switch will just be a sacrifice of an Amoonguss.
Yeah, not something that can take a flying move at all. That should be a free KO after seeing that Protect. Not a lot of reason not to go for that slot. As Double Edge going into what used to be the Lele slot. Amoonguss not able to take that +1 Double Edge. Zapdos, either move, it either KOs Volcarona and you get another offensive threat in, or Volcarona sticks around to Rage Powder again another day.
Yeah, and sticks on. We've seen plenty of those Thunderbolts now. Both Riley and Chase probably had to expect that Thunderbolt would not be enough to KO. And so Riley just accepting that he's got to start taking piece at a time and just get that damage to Volcarona so he can remove it from the field next turn. Now maybe hoping to take advantage of because his Tailwind was delayed by a turn, they'll have one turn where he has Tailwind and Chase doesn't. Maybe gives an opportunity to attack Salamence, but Chase can just burn that turn with the Protect, and then you're having to look at setting up another Tailwind. Things start getting pretty complicated for Riley as he's down 4-2 here with that massive damage Double Edge coming out every turn.
Very little possible punish for Chase to just press Protect on both Pokemon. Tapu Lele could go for the Z move, maybe KO the Volcarona through Protect, or if he feels necessary, attempting to critical hit that Salamence through the Protect. Maybe not enough to KO in that situation, but sometimes you have to find outs where they might not necessarily be obvious. The protects are revealed from Chase, just not willing to take any risk, want that tailwind gone. Zapdos going for the Thunderbolt, hitting into a protect, couldn't have done anything there as the Tapu Lele Moonblast not willing to burn the Z move just yet as the speeds become even once more.
Yeah, and he missed the opportunity you mentioned to go ahead and either get some damage out on Salamence or get the KO on Volcarona using that Shattered Psyche, and so instead, now we're faced with the same position we were a few turns ago, just down one Amoonguss, with Tapu Lele having its Protect intact, Salamence threatening that double edge, and Volcarona able to Rage Powder. The difference here now, though, is that Zapdos can Tailwind again, so if Tapu Lele does Protect, it could be a Tailwind.
But the double edge onto the Tapu Lele, picking up that easy KO. Chase not going for the Rage Powder, probably pressed Tailwind on his own just in case the Protect Tailwind was coming from the opposing side. As Thunderbolt comes out onto the Volcarona, picking up the KO on the injured bug. Though, you know what, he did his job and he did it well.
Oh, did his job incredibly. I mean, he got the KO on Metagross, kept that Rage Powder support that kept Salamence on the field. Volcarona was the MVP of this game, even if it was Salamence that did all the damage.
I mean, Salamence, what enabled Salamence to do all that damage was the Volcarona support.
Definitely, because not only is it the Volcarona support in Rage Powdering away those attacks, it's the Volcarona support in KOing Metagross and opening up the spot that Salamence is doing all that damage in.
I like to see Linu, not only because it's a Pokemon that has the potential to belly drum in the face because you want to deal with the Salamence, but because it's just kind of like, I think I've won, I'm going to send that with this guy. As Riley does forfeit, Chase takes this 2-1.
Yeah, it was a great match. Just too much offense too quickly for Riley to deal with. You know, in game one, we maybe saw that offense slowed down a little bit. There wasn't set up for the Greninja, so it was a little less powerful offense. And then Tapu Fini, while it does eventually get up to so much offense with those Calm Minds, it takes longer and it is slower and gave Riley the time to handle those threats. In game 1 and 3, Chase was just all out, set up, and then start getting KOs, and it was too much for Riley to deal with.
I mean, strong offense has been almost thematic today. You've seen many teams go for sort of setup sweeps. Snorlax, Linoon, the Lopunny setups, the Kangaskhan setups, all these things that want these careful positionings that enable them to set up an offense, maybe through proper actual setup moves like Calm Mind, but also through positioning where, now that I've got my Tailwind up, I can just blast you away.
Yeah, I mean, once you have that field position where you're threatening KOs on one or both Pokemon, and your opponent's entirely on the back foot, just having to try to find a way to stay alive, stay around, and eventually find an opportunity, it's very difficult for them to play. I mean, it's just one little slip up, and some important Pokemon is KO'd, and you're trying to figure out what it means for you, how you possibly win the game without that Pokemon.
That's honestly why these types of offensive teams are so good. It's that they just create these situations where not only if I play correctly will I win, but it creates this pressure for you to play incorrectly. Yeah,
you have to play perfectly. You can't miss one thing. You know, you look at the overheat KO on Metagross on turn 2 of that game 3. That could have been a Metagross Protect.
Yeah, and or a switch in, I guess. But
and so maybe Riley getting a step ahead of himself, thinking that Protect or that switch is so predictable, I won't even have to do it because there's no way he's overheating me. That mistake cost him Metagross and opened up all that offense.
Yeah, and potentially the game as well. He never did show the Ice Punch, but a very common move on Metagross. Not unreasonable to expect it at all.
Maybe, but, you know, a lot of these Metagross, you know, there's 4 moves you want to have on them.
Right.
And we did see both the Psychic, same type attack boosted move, and the Steel type. So there's only room for either that ground or ice coverage. And so it's definitely possible it was the ground coverage, and so you were stuck just going for Zen Headbutt.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't blame him either. That coverage in general is definitely superior. It's just, you know, within the context of playing Chase, Ice Punch looked like the kind of move you would want.
Yeah, but sometimes the move you want isn't the move you have.
No, exactly. That's how these little interesting matchup dynamics really work.
All right, well, we will take a quick break and be back with round 5 here at the SoCal Regional Championships.